19-year-old Jordan has returned to school this semester after completing probationary work over the summer to be reinstated. The previous 2 semesters, Jordan's GPA was less than 1.6, with Jordan attending less than 25% of classes and performing poorly on exams. Jordan has returned to campus and continues to miss class. Last weekend, he received a citation for an MIP, minor in possession, and must report to court.
Hi Jordan, my name's Kyle, I'll be your nurse today. So what brings you in?
Well, I fell and hurt my leg. The doctor says I might need a few stitches.
Okay. So the doctors already came in and see you. Do you mind taking some deep breaths for me?
Sure.
So you said you fell and hurt your leg. How'd you do that?
Well, I was drinking and I fell down some concrete stairs and it was raining earlier.
Okay, one more deep breath. Alright, well the doctor should be in again shortly. But before he comes in, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions about your alcohol use?
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Well, alcohol and substance use, really. Okay, in the past year, have you used tobacco products?
I've tried it once or twice, but it's not really my thing.
Alright, in the past year, have you used pot, other street illegal drugs, or prescription drugs for non-medical reasons?
I've been with my friends who do it, but I never really tried or got interested in that.
Alright. In the past year, have you had 5 or more standard drinks?
Well, what's a standard drink?
Well, a standard drink, typically you could count maybe 1 beer as one, or just 1 shot of hard liquors equal to 1.
Well, I don't really keep count, but I would think I probably do when I go to parties.
Alright, and then how many standard drinks do you have in a day?
Probably 4 to 5 when I go out.
4 to 5. How many days do you normally have 4 to 5 drinks?
Maybe 3 or 4 days.
Alright, in a typical week, do you consume more than 14 standard drinks?
It really depends on the week, but if I'm partying a lot, I most likely do.
In the past year, have you ever drank more than you wanted to?
Well, sometimes. I've blacked out a few times, and my friends had to tell me what happened last night.
Alright. In the past year, have you ever been intoxicated on alcohol when you could hurt yourself or others maybe?
I don't really think I could hurt anyone. I've never really hurt anyone in the past.
Have you ever thought about maybe cutting down on your drinking at all?
Not really. I don't really think it's a problem for me. Every college kid does it.
Some college kids do think that college is a time to experiment, but you don't actually have to go out and binge drink, kind of like the stereotype. If you were to put yourself on this ruler, 0 being that you're not likely to change your habits at all, and 10 being you're already making changes towards your drinking habits, where would you put yourself?
I guess a 2. I don't really see the point in changing. I'm having a lot of fun.
Okay, well, thanks for your honesty. But I am kind of concerned for your health. Would you mind if I made maybe a couple suggestions about your alcohol consumption?
Sure.
Men who drink more than 14 drinks a week or 4 drinks a day are at risk. I am concerned that you are exceeding this alcohol limit and it could cause some health problems. I would maybe like you to consider cutting back a little bit. What do you think would be some ways that you could cut back or improve your drinking?
Oh, I mean, maybe I could not go to the point where I black out. I don't really like not remembering what happened, so there's that.
Blacking out, definitely. Do you think, how do I word this? Maybe your alcohol consumption has a negative impact on your life in any way?
It could, but I never really thought about it in that way before.
All right. then what would be some negatives that are associated with your drinking?
I don't like feeling sick the next morning, and I definitely waste a lot of money having to buy new cases of beer each weekend. I'm in trouble with my grades in school, and well, my parents think I need to focus more, rather than on my social life, more on school.
So, what do you think impacts your grades?
I've never really been good at school, but I skip classes all the time for my friends, and I don't really want to spend extra time on studying when I could be out with my friends or at parties.
I can see that it's hard for you to balance school and social activities. Do you mind if I give you some advice that will help explain my concerns?
Yeah, sure.
Your current drinking patterns could have a big impact on your life, and I would like to, have you cut down.
Okay, well, what's so concerning?
Well, your drinking patterns concern me because it really is a bad habit to get into. You can develop maybe alcoholism later on in the future. If you're struggling between time and school life now, I would suggest coming up with a solution where you could manage life a bit easier. Do you have any suggestions that would maybe help you manage your school and social life? Kind of balance it out, make it easier for yourself.
Uh, well, maybe I could wake up earlier and get my homework out of the way then, and that way I'd be able to go out later with my friends and hang out at the night.
That sounds like a really good plan for balancing both social life and school life. What would be some positives that you associate with your drinking?
I have a lot of fun during the nights when I go out. I love meeting new people too at the party. That's my favorite.
So, from what I hear, there are some positives, and there's also some negatives that are associated with your drinking. Do you think that the positives kind of maybe outweigh the negatives?
Well, now that I'm thinking more about how alcohol can affect my life, I'm not really sure if the positives do outweigh the negatives all the time.
So, earlier you said that you blacked out. That could also damage your health as well. And you also mentioned how, let's see, you mentioned how you weren't able to remember what happened when you go out. So, what do you think could be a good solution to limiting, excuse me, the amount of times you black out when you're drinking?
Uh, well, I mean, could definitely pay more attention to how many drinks I'm going to have that night. I guess I could also learn my limits a little better too. That'd make a lot more sense.
Limiting your drinks and being aware of how much you're drinking are some really good stepping stones to work on implementing your drinking habits. So I'm going to bring out this ruler again and tell me, as of now, where are you on the readiness ruler from 0 to 10?
Well, I guess probably a 5.
Okay, so in the beginning of our conversation, you shared with me that you're a 2, and now you made that 2 change to a 5.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be good for me to know more of my limits, and that way I'd black out less often. I don't see the point to really stop drinking, but working on it, at least cutting down to safer limits might be smart.
Well, that sounds like some positive changes that we're making towards your drinking habits. Do you mind if we put some of these down in writing so we both have a reminder of where you're at and where you need to be?
Sure.
Okay. So to start with your balancing of school and social life, you mentioned you could wake up earlier and get homework done. Can we put this in your plans to change?
Yeah, why not?
You also mentioned how you could pay more attention to how many drinks you're having while you're at a party, to avoid blacking out. Could you put this in your plans to change?
Yep.
Do you have any ideas other than those that you would like to add?
I think I could also work on not teaching class for friends.
That seems like a positive addition to our list. Do you mind reading some of my notes right here out loud?
Sure. I will wake up earlier for my homework. That way I can have fun with my friends when I go out at night. Keep track of my drinks. That way I can keep myself from blacking out or doing something stupid. And I could not skip class and make sure I don't just go see my friends instead.
That sounds like a good plan to put in place. I think you have some great ideas on how to improve your alcohol use and also to improve in school. If you have any questions or if you want to call me, my number will be on our contract here. Also, I can refer you to a 12-step program if needed. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me. Just hold on to this contract, and I hope you start feeling better. The doctor should be in soon to see you again. Have a great day, Jimmy.
Yeah, you too.
Jordan is in the contemplation stage after having the talk with Nurse Kyle. Jordan feels motivated to do better in school and get back on the right track with his grades. Jordan also feels good about starting to limit his alcohol use to safer limits.